Hello and welcome to this updated video guide for completing the Antitower in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. My name is TS and in this video you'll learn everything you need to know to develop an irrational fear of children. This dungeon will take around 15 minutes to complete, so let's dive in. At the start of the dungeon you'll come across multiple frogs on their own. Getting close to them spawns additional adds. After the very first pack is down, jump on the weird magic whirly thing to continue onwards. Until you reach the first boss, you'll hop from platform to platform, taking these frog groups down. The set piece in the background here is pretty neat, so enjoy it. Before long, you'll reach the first boss, Zuro Rogo. He's a big frog with a staff and a party hat. For mechanics, Zuro can cast Water Bomb on 2 targets, but this is just a small AoE, so move out of the way. After these AoEs, you'll usually get 2 water orbs appear at random spots, unrelated to the water bomb locations. After a little bit of time, these will do an unmarked medium-sized explosion AoE which applies a damage down debuff. Just move away from them until they go off. For tanks, watch out for Odious Croak. This is a constant frontal cone attack, so move out of it to avoid continuous damage. Healers should look out for Toy Hammer being cast on the tank. This will stun them, which you should remove because Zuro will follow it up with another Odious Croak, which your tank won't be able to avoid. The last mechanic here is Frog Song. The boss will move to the middle and channel group damage. At the same time, 2 frog adds will spawn and 2 players will get turned into frogs themselves. Being a frog lasts for 24 seconds and frogged players will need to hop around to avoid the constant water bombs being thrown at them. If you're not a frog, kill the frog adds as that'll end the frog transformations early. This is something you should especially pay attention to if your healer goes ribbit. Once Zuro's croaked, jump onto the next magic spindly air thing to travel to the next area. Here, just work your way down wherever the hell you are to reach the second boss. These circle platforms are split into sets of 2, and while additional mobs spawn as you're fighting, the trash is quite weak, so it's safe to double up on pulls. Once you're at the bottom and the trash has stopped spawning, you'll encounter the second boss. This boss, Ziggy, is a Spriggan with a massive set of stones, and also a big rock. During the fight, he'll summon a number of large boulders which create ever-expanding AoEs underneath them. These can be targeted and killed, and doing so stops the AoE from spreading. They die in a couple of hits, so just kill them and move somewhere safe. Once the AoEs go off, the rocks will stay on the field. Ziggy will then target a single player with this targeting reticule. If this is you, just hide behind one of the rocks and wait for Ziggy to blast it. After the first blast, there'll be a second, so hide behind another rock. The only other mechanics are a frontal cone and some random group damage, but no one cares about those. In the last part of the dungeon, you'll have some corridors and rooms. Feel free to pull the corridor trash with you into the rooms, but do note that room trash will be reinforced, so there'll be more to kill than what's immediately visible. Just kill it all to keep opening the way forward, and you'll reach the final boss line. The final boss is Calcabrina, which is Spanish for why do I still have eyes? Probably. At the start of the fight, you'll have 6 dancing dolls. They spin around and then do an AoE. Blue ones do a large conal attack, and red ones do donuts. It can make a complicated pattern on the floor, but it's pretty easy to avoid. The dolls die in a few hits, and once they're down, the real boss appears. The first attack we'll cover is Terrifying Glance. This is a red eye indicator above a random player. After a short amount of time, the boss will do a gaze attack in that player's direction. Face your character away from it to avoid being confused. You should pay attention here to who has the marker, so you can either move away from their direction or face yourself away from the boss. Next we have Brace. This is marked by the boss crouching down and a brief purple shield appearing at the boss's rear and flanks. Attacking from these directions will cause you to take damage and get knocked back. Just move around to the front of the boss and attack from there. Once the doll stands back up, the brace effect ends. Calcabrina can also cast Knockout, but this is just a weak tank buster, so it's pretty ignorable. The final mechanic is Dollhouse. This transforms 2 random players into creepy dolls. As a doll, you'll lose all control and spin around and throw out AoEs, just like the dolls at the start. The other players will need to kill the doll players to set them free again. During this time, the boss will deal constant group damage as it repeatedly slams the floor. and it usually continues hitting the floor long after you've dealt with the dolls, because why not? That said, healers should note that nothing in this dungeon deals much damage and it's generally very easy. Pop a Limmy when it's ready, and pray you never have to see this twerking Chucky ever again. And that's the Antitower. If you've enjoyed the guide, then let me know, and if there are any other guides or perspectives you'd like to see, then check out my channel or feel free to ask me to create one. Thank you for watching, and good luck.